Hello. Good afternoon. It is Friday time, lunchtime, those collaborations time, and we are here for another lunch break live. We've got a really exciting one. They're all exciting every week, but this one is a really exciting and special one because this is a person that I have worked alongside for a very long time on various different things, and it's exciting to have them in to introduce them. So we'll be sharing with you, bring them in very shortly. Paul is on back of house. So Paul is already saying hi. He's in the comments. So if you've got any comments, questions, things to share it. And Paul will be keeping an eye on the back of house. But let me bring in this person. Will, for some of you, need no introduction, but it might be a conversation that you've not seen before. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome, and I've got to remember the full title because we have a new full title, Sam Everard, or Sammy Everard as we know her, MBE. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
And it is great to have you on here. And we've known each other how many years now? It's clocking up a few.
Knowing that I'm really young, I'd probably say about 15. But you know, we'll go less if you want.
Excellent. So we've already got viewers were queuing up for this one. We have started on a strong point. So please share if you are in. Feel free to say hello if you're watching it on replay, #replay, as we already do. So as you know, Paul's in back of house. We've got Chatty Kathy is in. Kathy is in the house. She says hi, Ricky and Paul. She hasn't said hi, Sam, yet, so we'll wait for that one. We've got Kate is on as well. Kate's saying hi, guys. So Kate's on there as well. Paul is saying hi, Kathy. Hi, Kate. So we've got a few in already, but I know there are some others watching in the background. So please do say hello. Share with us that you're on board. And as we go through, feel free to ask any questions and pop those in. So, Sam, obviously, I know you quite well, and some of them will know. But for those that are watching on replay, just tell us a little bit about you and tell us a little bit about Sammy and where it all kind of began.
Okay, so yeah, Sammy Everard. Where did Sammy start? It's a really interesting question. It was kind of like on the back of a fag packet, to be honest. Wayne, who sat next to me and who will probably butt in at some point because he won't be able to help himself, and I sat down and looked at where the needs were, because we're really aware that there's a lot of programs out there that have got a lot of tick boxes, and a lot of our guys need some support that's in their own time and doing their own thing. So we set Sammy up so that we could literally just work with them whenever they wanted. It started with little old me for about the first 3 months, and then you joined and Wayne joined, and then what are we up to now? About 45 on the team. So it's kind of grown, and we are close to our £1 million turnover, which is quite scary from something that started literally on the back of a fag packet. So yeah, it's all good.
Very scary. And it does become a little bit of a family affair, because we know that we have a few of the collar/shave clan and connections are in, but we also know we have other people connected to, and even on the show we have a family thing, because Kathy has said she thinks her mum's watching too. So yeah, it does become a bit of a family thing. And as we know, we've got Mr. Everard sits in the background as well as one of the trustees, and More than just a trustee, though.
I was going to say he's currently putting a new step in at the coach house. So, yeah, you might hear him doing that.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We'll go with that. Other people joining as well. So we've got hellos coming in from all over the place, and we're streaming to 3 channels today. So it could be Facebook, could be LinkedIn, could be YouTube. So yeah, so did you see yourself? Because I always find this an interesting one. We get asked it as brothers when me and Paul working together, but with you and Mr. Ev working together, when you like first got together, did you see yourself working together as well as everything else?
Oh, Rick, Mark and I did work together.
yeah, I know.
He literally, I had just got my first job as a night audit down at what was the Palace Court Hotel in Bournemouth, and I went on my first.
Okay. This, you can tell this is live. We've lost video feed at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be back in a second. Let's pause on this one. Not sure what's happened, but we'll keep going. Do we have Sam Everard with us today, who is live on Lunch Break Live, has just dropped out, but will be back in, I'm sure, as soon as they work out what's happened with the technology. We were just talking about where Sammy started and how long it's been going. And was introducing kind of how she started, saying it was a bit of a family event, and also sharing how, you know, she actually met Mark. I'm going to bring her back in now. She is back with us again.
I know that the team need a little note just to say, please don't ring the boss while she's on the call. Yeah, so he walked across the reception. He went, I'm going to marry you one day. And I just laughed. I've been there 5 minutes. And yeah, 9 months later, he did. So that was like 30 years ago. But I also have the work husband. So if I don't get the grief from the real husband, then the work husband starts. So, because Wayne and I have been working together 25 years. So between the pair of them, I'm just like henpecked. I tell you, it's brilliant.
It's always good. It's always good. It's definitely interesting in the office. And I think it adds to the family feel that Sammy has, because it's always that kind of family feel, isn't there, around the office?
Yes, yeah, very much so. It is, but that's how we've grown the team. There's never any hierarchy unless something goes a little bit wrong, and it's all about how we bring each other on and look at our strengths. I mean, everyone that comes into SAMEE comes in to do a job. I don't think there's any member of the team that's still doing the job that they got employed for. It's very much that we identify. Wayne's saying he does because he does the bids. But we all kind of just work to our strengths and then move into our own positions. And that's kind of always been the same way.
Yeah. And Paul at the moment is sharing some of the links on. So if you want to get hold of Sam or find out a bit more about the charity, you'll see the charity website, the Facebook page, and some of the other links where you can reach out and connect. But it has always been like that. I think that's one thing I've always enjoyed about working with the charities, that there's not that one set thing that you come in and do. I remember in the early days we just did everything, and it was like, okay, we started to then clarify who was doing what. But for those that are watching, tell them, what were the early days really like?
Are we allowed to do that online? The early days were really good fun, and it just literally was the 3 of us, wasn't it, until Shani joined. And it was very much that we all answered the phone. We spent days and days in job centres. We ran around the country. I mean, how many times we went to Wales? We went up to Glastonbury. We worked everywhere. And we got the Sovereign contract where Ricky learnt that straight lanes aren't straight. We did all the schoolwork where he got me flossing in front of a whole year group. Although I did get my own back on that one. We've done meetings in our pajamas online between us, although his was it Spider-Man?
Spider-Man
onesie. The original days were nuts. I mean, it just was chaos. We never knew what was going to happen. And people say, oh, the self-employment, there should be a plan and a strategy. And SAMEE, even to this day, has no plan or strategy. It's just we firefight and then we grow and we develop. And I think that's probably why we're as successful as we are. We've never had that, opportunity of going, right, well, today's Monday at 9 o'clock, we're going to do this. And at 9:30, it was just a case of, what do we got? Split it up, work it out. So, yeah, doesn't matter what we do, who we are, we just kind of don't make it on with that.
I'd call it beautiful chaos.
Beautiful chaos. There you go. So
Yeah.
I do that in.
But I think with some of the people, because we've had some very interesting people that we've worked with over the years, and I think that beautiful chaos, as Wayne calls it, I think has always been some of the success that's really helped. In what ways do you think that's kind of helped with how we work with our beneficiaries and how SAMEE works with the people it really supports and helps?
I think we've always worked on a what's upsetting you thing. So obviously as business mentors, we know that we've got to get somebody self-employed, we've got to do a business plan, look at marketing, customers, bookkeeping, all the boring stuff. But actually, do you know what? When you've got a mum sat in front of you saying, do I put petrol in the car? Do I put food on the table? Which do you think is more important? Because if I want to do my self-employed business, I need to be able to drive to get there. But if I don't eat, then I can't feed my child. What is that kind of route? And I think where SAMEE's different is we don't sit there and go, well, tough, it's week 1. We have to sit here and do bookkeeping. It's week 2. We have to sit here and look at customers. It's very much that we go, okay, so let's think about this. What is more important? Can you split the money that you've got? Is there anyone that can help you? Is it walking distance? And it's that kind of thing that we actually care. And I think also none of our team work in like what I call a full-on suit and tie. We all work in jeans and T-shirts because it's about making sure that we are flexible and adaptable to that person's needs. I mean, how many times do you rock up to an appointment and the person you're sat opposite has got a suit and tie on and you're immediately like, right, okay, I've got to be formal now and I'm not worry about what I'm saying and I've already got a fidget toy. But if it's a formal appointment, what happens? And I think with the SAMEE team, that kind of beautiful chaos means that somebody can rock up and they can have a coffee with us and they can go, do you know what? I've had a really pants day today. This has happened. And we just take it in our stride and go, okay, let's work it through. And that's where we're so different. I think we all care. And I think Ryan's listening. And I know he's the same, the way his approach with our customers. And I think I saw Vanya pop up, who I have to say yesterday, I was super impressed with. She actually took one of our young people out who is a mute. And they went and did BSL in a shop. And the young lady involved was signing things like Pepsi Max. She was signing pizza for her dinner. Just watching that young lady go from not communicating with our staff team at all to standing in Tesco's, actually signing to Vanya what she wanted. Wow. And that's because we're not worried about the business plan and what works and what steps we've got to take. It's so much about what we can do to help our people.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just popping up on the comments there. Kathy was saying, I totally agree, Sammy. As we know, Kathy often does agree with you, and they're all lovely that we work with. But that's the nice thing, that we get to share those thoughts and get to support people in that way, and then see those surprising moments when you get like in the shop where actually the person working in the shop is able to support in the way we're supporting or in the way the person needs to support.
Yes.
And building this from scratch, what do you feel? What's the thing that surprised you the most about building an organisation like SAMEE from scratch?
We weren't meant to get this big. I left a very well-paid full-time role with Business Link because I couldn't see how I could support the people I wanted to support. Mr. Genie Wish was my first client, and I literally took him with me from Business Link because he needed that additional support. Google him, he's amazing, Nath White. And I said to Mark, my husband, I was like, right, okay, so I'm going to have a couple of clients and then I'll get another job. Well, within the first 24 hours, I had 16 referrals because Job Centre wanted me to work with them. And then I went to Wayne and I was like, I might have a bit of a problem here. I've now got 16 clients and I'm on my own. And he was like, right, okay. And then working with Ansbury, we started getting all the self-employment clients from Ansbury. And very quickly, we had quite a large customer base. It was a full-time job, but with no money. I did it for a month and Mark turned around to me and he went, right, you've got choice A or B. You either pay the mortgage or you go and get a job. So bless him, Mr. Ingram started writing bids with me. His were better than mine, but don't tell him that. And we started to get some money in, and then the kind of grew from there. But I think with Sammy, like I say, there is no plan. It's grown organically. So I was working with the adults, and then Rick and I started doing obviously the schoolwork, and then we discovered that the sort of 15, 16-year-olds that aren't going to get maths and English are not going to be able to go to college. They don't want to do functional skills all their life, and they just want to go out and be a dog walker or a ventriloquist or, you know, something completely random that they're never going to get a job in. And we tried to convince the schools that self-employment was a good way forward for them. Didn't get anywhere. So I went to Teach First, took it as an innovation project, asked them if they'd support it, and it was a flat out no, self-employment doesn't belong in schools. So that was my red flag, and I went, do you know what? We're going forward with this. And then from there, we have built an internship program that's like a sports internship. We've got level 1 and level 2 qualifications. We've got a discovery program where they can actually do self-employment as a side hustle. And now obviously we've got the new Beyond the Classroom for when EHCPs end. So from us being told, no, you can't do that, the more they say no, the more I go, do you know what? Yeah, we will. And then Paul Wayne ends up with, like, I've got at the moment on my desk, like 45 billion Post-it notes, and can you please write me a bid? He doesn't know about that pile yet, by the way, you've seen it first. So it's very much that we didn't plan on growing this big. When we took over the first building, it was like, oh, now we've got 3. Never planned it. Never.
Yeah.
It's I think it's more of a shock to me than you guys, to be honest.
I think we probably saw it coming first before you wanted to admit it.
Yes.
I remember in the early days, those conversations of, I think it's going to get bigger than you want it to. And you're like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But the Post-it notes, we would have thought Wayne would be used to them by now, because we've had them since the early days of sitting on the floor and writing out workshops and putting Post-it notes down. It's been one of those that we've had for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, they're all different colours now, and I've got a whole pack of 20 Sharpies.
Oh no.
So I think it's one thing that I think is important to share is the things that people don't necessarily think about, and we know from working in the charity why self-employment is such an important option. But for you, why do you feel that self-employment is an important option for disabled and neurodivergent people?
It's not for everyone, Rick, as you know, and I think it's not about having a business. It's not about being the next entrepreneur with millions of staff and a big office. It's about confidence, independence. It's about actually having a little bit for yourself. When you're disabled, or I'm just thinking about the guy that makes the spoons, put down all of the time. You can't do this, you can't do that, you're not very good at school. My daughter was told not to go into school for a couple of days because they had SATs and they didn't want her to cock their results up. So it's those disabled people, neurodivergent people, have been told all the way through that they are not good. They're put, in inclusion centres, whatever, but they're told they're not good. And then they come to us and they go, do you know what? All I want to do is make a weighted blanket for my daughter. And Job Centre are now saying that I'm self-employed. How does that work? And when you talk to somebody like that and you're like, okay, the weighted blanket that you made is very lovely, and now you're making one for your friend and they've given you a £5 for it. This is why Job Centre are now saying you're self-employed. How can we help develop that? And that young lady went on to develop quite a nice business, although she didn't charge for the thread brick, did she? But it's very much about how we can develop those soft skills and that independence, because then if they do want to go on and get a job, they've already got social media skills. They've already started to think about what's public and private information. And it just gives them the confidence that somebody believes in them. And that's all our guys need sometimes. It's just the fact that somebody goes, okay, let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? I've got a young guy downstairs at the moment who's just bought me this. It's a list of prices for sponges and a bucket, because he'd like to wash the staff cars and earn a couple of pounds. Brilliant. Absolutely fine. We can sort out this. I'm off to Asda very shortly. But giving him the confidence that someone's gone, yeah, all right, we'll give it a go. My car's out there, see how it gets on. He might only make a couple of quid out of it, but it's his ownership of what he's doing, and that was what makes it special. And then as those guys come along and they're working with us, and then suddenly they're moving into supported living, and the staff are giving up their couches and their crockery, and we've had to find an iron and, you know, normal stuff. But that guy's now in supported living. We've got another one in independent living. It's just that confidence that they are somebody and they can do something. So self-employment for me is about growth and development, not about ticking boxes and having a business plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we could probably talk about, and you could recall many of the people that have worked with us over the years that we've supported and why we've supported them. But I think it would be unfair to ask you to think about one journey that stands out the most, but think about what a couple, 2 or 3 of the journeys for customers that really stand out for you. What are the ones that kind of are those memories through the years that have really stood out?
I think my spoon man is the biggest. I mean, his mum phoned us and said, there's 280 spoons on my dining room table. Any ideas what I can do with them? And he was a mute. He wouldn't come on camera with us. It took us months to actually get him to talk to us. We dealt a lot with mum. I love mum. She's brilliant. And then mum was ill one day and he had to sit there on his own. And all right, we only had kind of like half of him and some written notes in the chat. But he came on camera. And then 3 years later, it is really 3 years later, he literally stitched our team up for £600 because he came down just before Christmas and we all bought a spoon. But he's now working, doing his sales. He's now independently living. He's just passed his driving test. He is working in a handyman's shed. So he's supporting other people with mental health. He's teaching them to whittle spoons hand over hand. And they're teaching him life skills, and his journey has been phenomenal. In fact, he sent a message through this week. I think the biggest thing was, and I hate to say how sad my staff team are, but the biggest thing for him was one Christmas, he actually texted me to wish me happy Christmas, which for him to send a text was just massive. I'm sad. I sent it to the staff team and went, oh my goodness, he's just wished me happy Christmas, and they all responded. So I don't know who's worse, actually, me or them. But for him to be able to have the confidence to send a text just wishing happy Christmas, that was such a massive step. And like with Genie Wish, Mr. White, when I met Nath, he was on drugs. He wasn't a very well person, mental health issues, gone through a lot of trauma. And all he needed was someone to say, I believe in you. And to see him now coming in and mentoring our young guys and teaching them that it's okay to have a mental health day. It's okay to step away for 3 months because you need that space and time. It's okay to say you're not feeling okay. It's just incredible. And the journey he's been on, and the fact that he just wants to give so much back to the young people in our communities. I mean, all of them. I used to be like Erin Brockovich, Rick. It used to be that I would know every client, every job role, every date of birth, every phone number, you name it, I knew about them. I'm not so much attached now, but I know that the ones that we've touched over the years, and you think, was it 68% of the guys that we worked with in 2016 are still trading, which, all right, you want to know what happened to the other 32%, I can't really tell you, but 68% are still trading. It just goes to prove there's some SAMEE magic in there somewhere.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting when we look at those kind of figures for the long term, because actually when you look at business figures nationally, statistically, it's 60 to 70% of them that are going to fail within the first 5 years. But then you look at the ones that we've worked with, and actually 68% of them are still trading. It shows that actually we're kind of, the charity is far ahead of the trend when it comes to helping and supporting people in that way. Yeah, there's some interesting comments. I know that Kathy is saying about the list of things that we help with, and she's got like, there's a huge list: budgeting, making phone calls, setting up bank accounts, ordering their own lunches. The list is endless with the things we're helping them to achieve, but also supporting them with. And the comments, I don't think it's changed since you started the charity to now. the fact that, you know, at 10:30 at night, there'll be comments coming through on things that are happening, it is good to see in one way. But at the same time, we do kind of go, maybe
work-life balance.
yeah, work-life balance doesn't exist, does it? But
not in SAMEE.
So, I mean, obviously there's a lot that's happened. There's a lot of journeys, there's a lot of successes, a lot of memories from it. But for yourself, you mentioned that kind of like, although you're not quite at the forefront anymore, you kind of, with the way it's grown, you've had to step away from the front line a little bit, or sometimes we have to make you step away from the front line a little bit. But how would you say that your leadership has changed since you first started?
I think we've always tried, and I'm hoping Wayne to back me up, because he's going to kick me under the table here. We've always tried to let people have their own autonomy. So we don't micromanage. And like I said earlier, we let people develop their own job roles around what their skills and needs are. And I think that's the difference. It's very much that we've got an open door policy. There is no right or wrong answer. We don't get cross, we don't get angry. There's no point. If something happens, we just go, okay, what are we going to learn from it? Let's move on. And I think also with the charity the size that it is now, it's good that people have got their own autonomy, because if every decision had to come to Wayne and I here, we would be forever firefighting. And we've always had her come to us with 3 solutions, not the problem, and help us, mentor through what you want to do. But it is very much that if somebody says, we've got one at the moment, I'm just going off to Bournemouth Library. Okay, that's fine. As long as I know where you are, can you ring me when you get there? We won't go there, Rick, will we? Just, make sure that, you're telling us where you are, what you're doing, because this self-employment work and these skills should be built around the person, not around what SAMEE needs. So if somebody wants to go to the library and go and look something up, fine, go. If somebody wants to go down the garden and do a bit of work and enjoy just having some fresh air, fine, go. As long as we know and we can, work with that, that's fine. So the team are all their own leaders. We just, like I say, either pay the bill or deal with it afterwards. But that's how everyone's got to learn. Nobody knows. And with the guys that we work with, you don't even know what kind of mood they're going to be in when they get here. So we have to be so flexible. And I think that's the difference with us. We're very much there is no hierarchy in SAMEE. There shouldn't be. It's about all having that level playing field to do what we need to do.
Yeah. And I think you picked up on there, people learning, people have that autonomy, people leading. And there's been many lessons over the course of the years, like teaching how to make coffee properly and things like that. We've had many lessons that have happened across the thing. But for someone who was starting out now, who wanted to build something that's going to help other people, or wanted to build an organization that's going to scale and things like that, what would be some advice that you would give them from your experience of working with building SAMEE?
KLT, yeah, know, like, and trust. Work with people that you know, like, and trust to begin with. But also, I wouldn't plan the growth and the bigness. I would plan. I'm very much that we plan small scale, so and we don't take risk. So when we set up SAMEE, we worked from an office that we had already. We went into job centres, and then from there we then moved on to the next step of going into school, and then we moved into the next step. We've never had this kind of, we're going to have 25 offices, we're going to be all over the world. There's no point in planning on that growth and scale, because if you don't actually get the foundations right, then you've got no hope. And I think that's where people make mistakes. When they say about setting up a business, they say about setting up as an entrepreneur, they immediately think, I need an office, I need staff, I need this and this, when actual fact what you need is time, dedication, and the fact that you just need to take very small baby steps and just hope that you get there. Wayne's about to say something really inspirational. Go for it.
Build your kudos first.
Yeah, build your reputation. I mean, we have always said that we will go around the right way. under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we've sat. It's very much that if we say we're going to do something, we do it. We won't promise to do something.
Got another one. And when you're prioritising your tasks, what is closest to a paycheck?
So
In the
again,
early days.
it's very exciting to build a website and to go off and go to a conference or do these wonderful things. Oh, I'll go to a networking lunch day. Fantastic. But is it close to a paycheck? You might have some really boring admin to do, but it might bring you in a couple of £100. Do the admin first, then go off and go and have your lunch. Just remember to ring the boss when you get there. Otherwise, he actually rings the hotel to find out where you are, and you get very embarrassed when the hotel manager walks up to you and goes, Sammy, you forgot to tell Ricky that you checked into the hotel.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that when as it's grown, it's always been, oh, how's this working? Do we need this in place? But we've always had those interesting things like phoning the hotel because you're not sure where the boss is. The income related to activity, what's the closest thing to the paycheck and stuff like that. Mark Stone was just highlighting as well the resilience. So, we don't need any check-in on where people working with the charity are today because most of them are on here watching what you're up to. So, but I think that's nice because this was also a way to be able to bring that conversation and allow some of these people who maybe weren't there from the start of the journey to hear some of those things, which has been really good. And you've worked with, there's quite a few people. Like we say, there's about 43, 45 people now on board as a team.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've taken or learned from those people over the years?
Oh, now I've got to be careful, haven't I? that's evil, Mr. Collar. I think for me is about balance. The staff team are going to identify who they are when I do this. I'll be very careful. We have a fair few on our team. Well, all of our team have either got a disability or lived experience of disability. And so they've got that understanding. But it's about trying to balance feeling and emotion and also trying to balance work. So I can turn around to somebody and I go, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Brilliant. They've got routine, they've got structure, they know a time limit. If I did that with another member of our team that's neurodivergent, they're going to want to know, where am I having lunch? What have I got to wear? Where am I going to park my car? So you need to give more detail. You can't just say, I need that, and that by 12. You've got to have that detail. We've got another member of the team that can't deal with case study. So if you say to them, right, we're going to do a mentoring training course today. I want you to imagine that you've gone in to meet your client. Okay, so where's my client sat? Where am I meeting them? Have they rocked up? What are they wearing? Are they facing a window? Is there a window? Hang on, is there a picture on the wall? Right, okay, start again. So it's kind of balancing the needs of everyone. That's the bit that I've taken away. And it's very much that I need to, and Wayne does as well, we need to understand where everyone's sat. So sometimes we'll say, right, we need to implement this. Okay, we're going to have that pushback, that question, that query, that ask. Right, how do we deal with this so that it meets everyone's needs in one go? And that's really difficult. So go on.
What? Hidden talents.
Hidden talents.
Right, so talk about our person who worked with young people, had a hidden talent, and now they're working with our adults.
Yeah. And we've also got somebody on the team. We one of our volunteers suddenly announced that they do Makaton. We didn't know that. Yeah. And it's incredible how they suddenly come up with something. You're like, I didn't know you did that. Or it just, Miss Cassandra next door is very good with sewing. And she makes things. She's very creative. Never give her a flanimal challenge. She will outdo you any time on flanimals. I tell you, she's good. But all those skill bases that we're trying to pull together, a document which shows everybody's skill base. But again, the team don't always realise they've got those skills. And it's about how we bring them out and encourage them. So, yeah, there's lots with our team. They're an incredible bunch of people.
Yeah, very interesting and incredible bunch of people, and slightly mad sometimes in the best way. But yeah, Sharon was just saying you get the best from your team when you understand their needs and are flexible. Yeah, Paul is agreeing with you as well. He's saying so true. He has to agree. You're the boss. But yeah, I think that there's so much that comes from everything that has happened and has gone on. What's one thing you wish every employer or business owner understood when it comes to working with people with disabilities or people with neurodivergence?
That it's okay to be challenged. I think the number of times that a neurodivergent challenges me on something, it's like, right, we're going to write an action plan out, we're going to do it as a bullet list, and they're like, no, I want pictures. Can you do it as pictures? Okay, we'd do it as pictures. And I think that challenging, actually, sometimes it can be quite irritating because you've got a plan in your own mind, but having somebody challenge your thinking is the best thing that you can do. Let them do it, because you won't learn, and there could actually be a relationship breakdown if you don't understand that person. So by letting them kind of lead, giving them the voice to actually lead and tell you what they need. I'm doing a PhD at the moment. We won't go there because I've just kind of failed 3 chapters, but that's another story. But one of the things that I've learned is that the voices of our neurodivergent community are not heard. And when I was talking to them about what support they needed with self-employment, what I thought they needed and what they actually need are 2 different things, which is why we're developing a new program which enhances an education base. And that learning for me was incredible, because everyone thinks to be self-employed you need money, you might need a mentor, and you need a brilliant idea. But in actual fact, what you might need is, how do I tell the time? How do I build my diary? How do I know what to wear? How do I know what to charge? And it's that kind of backfilling that is more important.
And never be fearful of taking risks.
Yeah.
Because you never fail, you learn.
Yeah. And the risk taking for us, that's my biggest one. I am not very good at risk taking. It is something that scares me. Too many things have happened in my life where if I take a risk, I'm worried I'm going to go back to where I started. And although, yeah, you start again and you grow and you build, having been in some not nice places, I don't want to go back there. And I think taking that risk is scary, but it can be done. But
a classic example is in the early days, remember, we took social investment.
Yeah.
And we didn't need social investment.
No, we did.
We messed up, but we quickly learned. And
yeah, you learn. The biggest one for me is I totally cocked up at the beginning. I was looking at the way that other charities were structured and noticed that they were companies limited by guarantee with Companies House, and that they were registered with Charities Commission. So me being smarty pants and not needing anyone's help, because I know exactly what I'm doing, I registered with Companies House and I registered us with Charities Commission, and then found out I was breaking the law because I'd registered us in 2 places and I needed to do something completely different on the paperwork. It took us 6 months to get out of that one, but we did it, we learned, and now anyone that wants to set up a charity, I know how to do it. But at the time, you kind of go by the knowledge and what you do, and I think that's another big thing, is actually having the point of going, just help me, because sometimes you just need that bit of assistance.
Yeah. Go on, Rick. Yeah, I was just letting Wayne add in there, because so for those that are not aware, Wayne is sat in the background and has been sharing as well.
He's been a pain. This is work husband. So.
Sorry, guys. Look, I've got one more, right? Say what you mean and mean what you say. Yeah, that is really important, because then the more clear you are about asking someone, to do something, the more effective they're going to be at completing that task for you. That's a leadership thing. But yeah. Anyway, hello.
This is why I try not to do these things when he's in the office.
Sorry, guys.
But you see, he and I work very differently. So there's one of your leadership things. We were going to pitch for £25,000 from Unlimited. And I am very much that I wing it. Right? I'm putting my hands up. That I'm very naughty and I wing a lot of things. Mr. Contingency Plan says to me, right, on the train on the way up, we have a 5 minutes pitch and you're going to say this, and this, and you're going to do this, and here is your script and you are going to read it and you are going to get us the money. I did his 5-minute script in about 32 seconds because I just went, and the guys looked at me and they went, would you like to do it your way now? I went, thank you. And I got us £25,000. But that's the difference.
Right, that's
no,
not
thank
true
you.
at all.
So that is the difference
We got the money because we
between...
did a Q&A, in which we both answered the questions. Thank you very much.
So that is the difference in the way we work. He's very, very structured. And I think sometimes, although he really irritates me, it's good to have that kind of person that you can bounce ideas with. I know, Rick, you've got Paul and you both work in very different ways. And I think, it's check and balance. And it's having that challenging again, making sure that the right decisions are made. And you just need sometimes just to have that person to ask the question.
As long as you're aligned, though, ultimately what you want to achieve.
Kathy has got the giggles right now. Paul is highlighting domestic at work.
Yeah, afraid so. The husband's down there, I'll be fine.
This is the realities that people don't often see. That I think that's the great thing about it, is there is that ability to be able to have those honest conversations. And I heard someone talk about it as honest kindness a while back, where it's the kind of kindness that you go up to someone and go, you've got some toilet paper stuck to your shoe, or it was a great presentation because you didn't have yourself zipped up. We've had many, or the presentation where someone goes, that was a great dramatic pause, and you go, it's because the notes weren't on the screen for the presentation. There's been many of those moments, but it's that honest kindness.
Tell them about
you
that.
want to do the last one, don't you? Or the one where the CEO is asking one of her members of the team to join her on the stage, and she fell off of it. It was about 2 inches high and broke her ankle. So yes, go on, rub it in.
I wasn't actually going to share that one today. I was gonna be nice, but yeah, like when you're not allowed to have stages at hotels anymore because they know the CEO's rocking up because she managed to do it. And ironically, it was a hotel opposite a hospital as well. So it's all those things that make it good and refreshing as part of the organisation, and working with Sammy and seeing the charity grow up, which has been awesome. Sharon is saying ouch.
I don't think we'll ever grow up.
No, I don't think there'll ever be any growing up. But all right, as we advance through life, we'll go with it like that. So I think one thing that I'd like to kind of there's a couple of things to finish off with, but I think where you've helped so many people believe in themselves, take steps that they never thought possible, has there been someone you've worked with whose journey has really stayed with you? I know we talked about who stands out, but whose journey has really stayed with you?
Oh, Rick, that's a difficult one. I think they all do in different ways. There isn't one story that stays with me, but there has been so many stories that I now use in my own kind of mentoring and leadership when, you think about how people don't have that opportunity and you give them the opportunity and they don't know how to deal with it, and they end up coming backwards. And we've had one young lady that we tried to help, and she had everything available in her pathway to step forward, but the confidence wasn't there, and there was nothing we could do to overcome her own anxiety. And I think that actually has probably stayed with me the most, because it's given me the kind of hope that we can help people, but we just need to be very mindful about how we do it. And sometimes us going, that's brilliant, well done, yes, great, is actually the last thing they need to hear. It's more about, okay, so what do we do next? And for me, that's really difficult because we're all about praising those small steps. And I can't do that with some people because they are, if you praise them, they're immediately looking for that rejection. They're immediately looking for someone to go, Yeah, we're joking, right? You're absolute pants. And I think that's always stayed with me, is about how we praise and how we move people forward in a safe way for them.
We were once told, sorry guys, we were once told by someone who worked in an organisation, you can't save them all. Well, those words drive us because we want to save them all, and we will keep trying until we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apart from the stuffed dogs, but we won't go there today either.
Yeah.
Oh, can I?
There are so many things that we could share about stuffed dogs and how they stay still and all sorts of other things, isn't there? But I think, you know, it's and you mentioned about giving you hope, and I think just to finish things off for people, what is giving you hope at the moment?
I think we had Jessica Toll visit this morning, which was lovely, and talking to her about what we're doing and actually showing her our achievements. So she'd been to Richmond Gardens here, and she'd seen our classroom and she'd met our interns. And today we showed her our vocational house, and we showed her actual desks where there's t-shirt presses and there's a nail technician site. We've got a desk that's got tools on it for the guy that mends the mobile phones, because they're actually using this place as incubators now. And to see the joy on her face, to actually see her go, wow, this is something I want to talk about in Parliament. This is something I want to share. That's what gave me hope. The fact that somebody else is beginning to believe in what we do. We know what we do is good, and that's not me being overconfident or being a smart ass, but we know what we do is good because we've changed so many lives. But to actually see other people recognising it is what gives me hope for the future.
Can I answer that as well? For me, hope is a smile on a young person's face when they're showing you something they've either created or something they've passed. That smile means everything.
Yeah.
I've got in my desk a going back to the flannels, a flannel that is rolled up and looks like a snake. I should have had it ready for this call. And the young person that made it was autistic in a mainstream school, and they weren't coping very well with our hotel skills day, and they were walking around. And eventually I got them to come and sit with me to make this flannel, and they made a snake. And I said, oh, do you want to take it home to show your mum? And they said no. They put it in the bin as they walked past, because they said anything they took home mum wasn't interested in. And I took it out the bin, and every year that we went back into that school, I took the snake with me and I showed that young person each year. And it's still in my desk today, so if I ever meet them again, that gave me hope, because that seeing their face when I took it back into school and I said, I've kept it. It just, I think that's, you know, they just automatically think what they've done is really bad. But Wayne's right, that smile, that kind of, look what I've done. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Sharon was just saying it takes her back to her youth worker days with all the smiles. So yeah, no, it's been good. We've had loads of comments and things like that. It's been a great session, and I know that we've got lots more that we could share, but we have come to the end of the session. So on the screen, you will now see some of the links where if you want to reach out to the charity, you want to reach out to Sam, we've got the website, Facebook, and also the email address that you can reach out to. It has been an amazing conversation today, and I'm sure at some point we will get Sam back on once again. All the thank yous are starting to come into the chat as well. So yeah, if you're watching this or you're watching it on replay, just leave a comment and let us know. And it's been great to have everyone. Sam, thank you for joining us today and sharing with everything. Any final thoughts that you want to share? Yeah,
if you want to get a nice fidget toilet, let me know and I will give you a link to somebody, because that's what's getting me through the meetings.
Excellent. So that's everything from us. If you want to join us again, you've got our website details as well, and also Lunch Break Live every Friday, coming from 3 streaming platforms. Next week we have another guest on, which is going to be awesome. We'll share that next week, but it has been absolutely amazing, and we will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.